attending.
Is this Fran?
Actually, this is Deb, and you're on speaker.
Okay. When is the next time I'm going to need to be available besides right now?
We can give you a call after the meeting.
Okay, fine.
That would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, because I need to figure out my schedule here.
Go ahead and call this special meeting of the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors into session. Again, we've reconvened now from our earlier meeting. We've had the opportunity to receive legal advice in executive session as it relates to the vacancy that's now been created in Maricopa County attorney position. We are going to, at this point, this item has been noticed for the public, so if we have any folks that would like to speak specifically on the issue of the appointment of the new county attorney, they would have 2 minutes to do that at this time. But then after that, we will proceed to discussion and any possible motion as it relates to the process for replacing the county attorney. So I'm not seeing anyone at this point who, okay, all right.
You just weren't looking hard enough.
Okay, all right. Please, if you can, again, we have 2 minutes, and we will let you know, we will be timing with the 2 minutes and I just want to let everybody know, we're going to have the same rules for everyone. It's 2 minutes. When you hit 2 minutes, I will ask you to wrap up that thought, okay? We're not going to go on. I'm going to treat everyone the same way. So those are the rules, and I want to be very clear about that. I want to have everyone to have the opportunity to give their 2 minutes, and then we will ask you to complete, because we do have multiple people who would like to speak, and then we will go quickly to a motion. So everyone, if you can please state your name for the record before you proceed.
Thank you, Supervisor. My name is Annalise Ortiz, A-N-A-L-I-S-E-O-R-T-I-Z. I'm speaking on behalf of the ACLU of Arizona. And Supervisor Gallardo, I really want to thank you for making sure that we had an opportunity to speak in this public comment. And I hope that the rest of you can take his example of allowing this entire process to be a transparent process where all of the people who want to speak can be heard and possibly even have a voice as you continue to make the decision of this appointment. And with that being said, I'm asking you, and the ACLU is asking you, to appoint an interim county attorney who recognizes the urgent need for reform within the Maricopa County Attorney's Office and is determined to fix it. The Maricopa County Attorney's Office has a well-documented history of allowing prosecutorial misconduct to go unchecked. For example, the Arizona Supreme Court repeatedly found one of Maricopa County's top prosecutors, Juan Martinez, engaged in misconduct in death penalty cases, yet Martinez is still being trusted to handle some of the most serious cases in this county. We think you should appoint a county attorney who will commit to fairly investigating claims of prosecutorial misconduct and properly disciplining prosecutors when necessary. Historically, when the public has asked questions about how prosecutors are being disciplined, the county attorney has fought tooth and nail to hide public information. You should appoint a county attorney who will be radically transparent with the public, be responsive to public records requests. The ACLU is currently suing Montgomery's office or the county attorney's office for records. That shouldn't have to get to that level. And we ask that the county attorney and you all invite the community to the table when important decisions are being made. You should appoint a county attorney who sees it as their duty to safely and effectively reduce our bloated prison population. A recent study found that Maricopa County Attorney's Office sends people to prison for longer periods than any other Arizona county. The study found that MCAO uses the repeat offender enhancement far more than other counties in the state. Maricopa County's current approach to public safety stems from a decades-long culture, one that flows from the top down. It prioritizes winning convictions over pursuing justice. So please consider a county attorney who will fight against that.
Thank you. And I'm actually gonna ask everyone to refrain from clapping. We want to just move through these, respectfully listen to everyone, and also I want to make sure everyone is aware, under state law, we are prohibited from responding to the comments. So I want to make sure that everyone understands that The fact that the board here is not responding does not indicate either approval or disagreement with any of the statements that might be made. Sir?
Perfect. Thank you, Chairman, members of the body, of the board. My name is Ricardo Samudio Guillen. I'm the organizing director. I live in United for Change in Arizona and part of the Mass Liberation Project. We work with really impacted people by the policies that have plagued our community and created systemic mass incarceration. And so we believe that in choosing an interim for Bill Montgomery, we need to take in consideration someone that can work openly with the community, work to reduce mass incarceration, hold prosecutors and police accountable for their actions, and use their discretion to utilize restorative justice rather than continue Bill Montgomery's reign of mass incarceration. In addition, we urge you, this body, to make this process as transparent as possible. After all, you are going to appoint someone that is usually elected by the people. And so just like you all, to a very important position that holds huge powers within our government, we believe we have an opportunity here to have a full transparent process and take consideration the people of Maricopa County. This is a very, very important position that is usually has a lot of unchecked powers and affects many, many people in our community, specifically poor communities of color historically in Maricopa County. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Please, thanks for joining us.
Hello, my name is Michael Peterson. I'm representing the Republican Liberty Caucus of Arizona. Oh. And I feel as though we can't just appoint another Bill Montgomery. We need an attorney first and an activist never. He's supposed to be our county attorney. He's not supposed to push his political agenda. He's not supposed to go behind the back of the voters and of our legislature when they pass laws regarding Hannah Pryor's, the stacking of bills, the stacking of offenses against an individual being charged. Also, we need a county attorney who's not going to be afraid to let juries actually know how jury nullification works. Jury nullification can shrink our prison population. In Arizona, we currently have a 20% increase between 2009 and 2019 in the total prison population. 20%. The national average is 7%. So we're incarcerating an increased rate of almost 3 times the rest of the nation. What's wrong with us? And most of our convictions in Arizona are over misdemeanors and plea deals, such as marijuana. And we can't have this. We cannot have another Bill Montgomery. I'm hoping that you as supervisors will look deep into your hearts and find somebody that can more represent the people of Arizona. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Board. I wanted to read you a little bit of a statement that Puente Human Rights Movement put on in behalf of a couple of community members. Sure. My name's Isis Gill. My apologies. Spelled ISISGIL is my last name.
Thank you.
So my apologies, in support of everyone else that has spoken, we are incarcerating a great deal of our population that has a great deal of mental illness, homelessness. We're basically incarcerating our social ills. And in particular, Puente, in collaboration with local and national organizations, are here to demand for the release of 2 young mentally ill women, one of them being Valentina Gloria. She's been in Lower Buckeye Jail since February.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'll go ahead and let you continue, but I just want to remind everyone, the issue that we have before us is the replacement of the county attorney. So if we can focus, this isn't open public comment, so if you can focus those comments on that, I would appreciate it.
I completely understand what you're saying. The reference to this is the fact that our county attorney is the one that will basically bring charges on behalf of our society. And this is in reference to the fact that we are criminalizing mentally ill youth. And in particular, these 2 young girls do not deserve to be in jail or in prison. And in particular, as a state, we are incarcerating a great deal of our mental ills. So I think this is unbelievably connected to the point that our next Maricopa County attorney is going to decide who and how we incarcerate our people. And I don't believe that any of this is subject to the truths of our criminal justice system, and I don't believe this is something that we should be doing. And to that point, though, if you all want to read the case, I can certainly give you all this.
You can hand that to the clerk, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But the point that I was trying to make with this is the fact that we need a transparent system. And certainly to the point that we need the public to understand why we're incarcerating people, and to the case of why we care so much about incarcerating people that should not be there, as opposed to having some type of treatment. And yeah, I just hope that you all can read that statement and understand that we need transparency in this process, and the fact that we need someone accountable.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
My name is Maria Castro. I am here on behalf of Puente Human Rights Movement. What you see before you is the cover and the results of Bill Montgomery's actions. We need someone who is not going to do this to our daughters, to our sisters, to our nieces. Someone who is not going to criminalize someone's mental health. Someone who is going to do justice to the families of those who have lost loved ones. Bill Montgomery was the type of county attorney that is putting teenagers, or has put teenagers with mental illnesses behind bars, being four-pointed, women who are survivors of sexual abuse. Not just Valentina, but also Brianna and a 15-year-old Adriana. These children are being held in a start point position because of their mental illness. Meanwhile, these officers who are killing loved ones, like my brother-in-law, went without prosecution. We have yet to see in this county, on behalf of the county attorney's office, any kind of justice for those who have lost loved ones at the hands of law enforcement. And so you have this county attorney who went after these teenage girls, survivors of rape, and puts them in this position and lets these murderers go free. We cannot continue to have this. And when we look at history, I mean, you have to look at the decades-long lawsuits that this county has gone through. I mean, we're looking at Graves versus the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, and the treatment of these women. These women are in there because of the way that the Maricopa County Attorney's Office has been prosecuting our communities. And so we need someone who is not going to bring more lawsuits into our county, because we've wasted millions of dollars because of Sheriff Joe, because of the county attorney's office, because of the treatment and how we are incarcerating people who need help, people who need the support. And these women, Adriana, Valentina, and Brianna, all had gone to the state, to the county, asking for help. And what were they met with? They were met with charges from the Maricopa County Attorney's Office. And I'm gonna leave this here for you.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
Thank you.
My name is Elizabeth Venable. I'm with the Fund for Empowerment, and also Lucha Mass Liberation. I have two lines of thought. The first one is that even though Bill Montgomery is an elected official, he reflects on your all's style of management for the county, and it hasn't been exactly fiscally responsible in terms of how he runs the operations. There's been very little transparency, and there's been very little accountability. And so for me, those are not values I want to see in a public servant or in an agency or what have you that represents me. I would like to see more fiscal responsibility with regards to not necessarily funneling everybody into a system that clogs the rest of our governance financially. I also have mental health conditions, and so I personally find the system the justice system to be fairly frustrating and frightening. One time I almost got convicted for taking my mental health medications. That was interesting. But the point of it is that I think that you need to see people like the people who are here as human beings who have been directly infected by the system and are suffering from the system and are not benefiting. And I also go back to those values of governance. You know, is this the county? Do you want all your money to be going into criminal justice, or do you want other things maybe that your values respect to be aligned with this? And if you have someone that is legislating from the bar or from the bench or whatever he's doing, you know, he's still creating policy for y'all, and it has still reflects on you, and it's almost inseparable between what you are doing and what they are doing.
Thank you very much. And our last speaker?
My name is Shemin Haas. I'm a third-generation Arizona native. My ancestors were farmers in the East Valley. Haas Road is named after my grandfather. I would like to thank you, Mr. Gallardo, for being here. I feel like I helped get you here. If anybody wants to know what I think or feel in this body after I leave this room, listen to Mr. Gallardo. He speaks for me. And I hope that you will all give him your consideration because I think he's about the only one up there that has any sense. Okay, sorry about that, but I want to shed a little light on the county attorney's office and their duties and responsibilities. I had the opportunity to meet with Mr. Montgomery several years ago. I had questions about why he wasn't prosecuting the CPS for neglecting over 300 child sex cases in El Mirage. I think the fact that they were in El Mirage had something to do with it, but we won't go there right now. So I just want to tell you a few of the duties of the county attorney so the public will know just how much power that this office has. The county attorney can implement policies to send fewer people to prison, depending on how they decide to prosecute cases. They can make alternatives to incarceration, like drug or mental health treatment programs being more accessible. That's absolutely doable. The county attorney can become a public advocate for criminal justice reform if that person should decide to do so, which I would think would be painfully obvious that that is desired by the community at large. County attorney can decide whether a police officer will be charged with a crime when they kill or hurt someone. What a novel concept. Mr. County Attorney has been sitting on his ever-loving hands trying to get his political situation to rise, and now he has. We still have the most deadly police force in the nation in Phoenix. The county attorney can ensure investigations of police or prosecutor misconduct are handled fairly and independently.
Ma'am, your time is up.
We can also have use the county attorney to stop using cash bail to keep our people in jail and require that prosecution to consider immigration consequences of criminal cases on families are kept together. Okay?
Thank you very much. All right, now that closes the public comment, and I want to thank everyone. I'm sorry, we have one more?
I had to sit on senior citizen.
Okay, please. My apologies. All right, anyone else? I think this is our last speaker. All right, perfect. Please proceed.
Okay. My name is Camille Tilley, and my daughter was wrongfully convicted here in Maricopa County and falsely accused in 2004. And from that day, we were living out of state. I came here to save my daughter and discovered the rat's nest that I would find. And after the initial depression and everything that you suffer when your lives are, your good family's lives, are turned upside down, I put myself, that sorrow, into action. I've been most recently 2 years in Washington, D.C. on a special board, first time to put prosecutors on a national registry. That was started at the federal level. I went there to get it brought to the state level. It took me 2 years to get Maricopa County prosecutors on that list. In 2013, Michael Kiefer did a prosecutorial misconduct series. I know you're all focused on the recent history of Jodi Arias, the Arias case, but mine goes back to Rick Romley, followed by Andrew Thomas, bragging about 200,000 felony cases in one term in office, 2005 to 2010. We are bearing the burden as citizens, taxpayers, and communities for the damage that was done under the Andrew Thomas regime. Bill Montgomery had a chance to right the wrongs, and he didn't. He swept the 200,000 felony cases under the rug, where they will sit in Arizona's Pandora box. And as people trail through the appellate system and the courts all the way to the Arizona Supreme Court, like we did, with private money, not public defenders, he doesn't have to have much knowledge. It doesn't take much knowledge to rubber stamp denied on a one-pager denying someone who has appealed their case and waited in prison for years and years. Okay, I have fought and started citizen active things, the first prison rally at the state capitol, the first National Freedom March for the wrongfully convicted, a grassroots innocence movement. I've worked with Cecil Ash and encouraged him to start his sentencing reform committee. What the state needs is a state commission on prosecutorial misconduct that was done by friends of mine in New York that Governor Cuomo just signed. Arizona needs that. Arizona needs term limits for the Maricopa County Attorney and other offices, and term limits for the sheriff.
Your time is up, ma'am.
I have more solutions, and I'll send you a packet.
Thank you very much. Again, I want to thank everyone for coming today, for providing comments. A lot of talk about transparency, and that's something that's very important to this board. That's why we just had public comment, and that's why we're looking at other ways to get the community involved and to get there to help us to make this important selection that the Board of Supervisors is required to make under Arizona law. Again, we want to thank, as I did earlier, we want to thank Bill Montgomery for his service, and we also want to thank our all of the law enforcement around Maricopa County for all that they do. With that, I would entertain a motion or open this to any discussion at this time.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to establish a citizens committee comprised of 7 citizen members recommended by the board. The committee will review applications of those who submit for this vacancy in the office of the county attorney. The chairman of the board will designate the chairman of this committee. As an advisory committee, this committee will conduct their meeting pursuant to the Arizona Open Meeting Law. The clerk of the board will assist with all required postings and agendas for the committee. The process will be an application will be placed on the website today with information on how to contact the clerk of the board regarding the application. The deadline for applications is September 18th at 5 p.m. On October 1st, the Citizens Committee will submit their recommendations to the Board of Supervisors. The board wants to be clear that the board is not delegating the responsibility for this appointment to the committee. The board reserves the right to select from the recommended list or from other applicants and may amend the schedule as needed.
Thank you, Supervisor Hickman, for that motion. Do we have a second?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to second that motion. I want to make a quick comment before we vote, though. First of all, thank you, Lucha and Puente, for coming down, and some of the other groups I'm not that familiar with yet, but I'll get to know y'all. But Lucha and Puente I've worked with alongside for many years at the state capitol and many other demonstrations. And thank you all for being here, because this is a very critical appointment. I think we all recognize that. I think out of the 5 years or so I've been here, this would definitely be probably the most important appointment I'll be participating in on this board yet. And you see it just with the participation we have here. I think everyone recognizes the importance, and we all want to make sure we have the best qualified person to step into that county attorney's office and address the various issues that were pointed out at our podium. And I'm confident that this board will do that. I worked with all 4 of you for a few years now, and you all have been great to work with. We don't agree all the time, but I think on this one, we're all in the same direction. And I think we're going to come up with a candidate that will be moving the county attorney's office forward and taking on some of the issues that have been brought up. On the same note, I think we're all on the same note that we want the public to participate. I want the Fuentes to be involved in this appointment. I want Lucha to be part of this discussion. And I think all 5 of us are committed to that, to make sure we have exactly what it was requested, and that was a transparent process, a public participation process. Many of the candidates, I think, at least for myself, I'll probably be getting to know, as well as some of the folks that are here. We're going to be getting to know these people. We're going to get to vet these people. We're going to be able to find out what their thoughts are and what their vision is, and that's something we'll all do together. And at the end of the day, I am confident that this board will have a candidate that we will be able to vote on and be able to say that we are confident that this candidate will take the county attorney's office moving forward and be able to address some of the concerns. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I know this is a process that we're all kind of getting our hands around. I look forward to putting all hands on deck. Let's get to work and let's appoint this commission that's going to represent and be very diverse, representing all segments of our population. And let's start the process of appointing our next county attorney.
All right, thank you for those words, Supervisor Gallardo. So we do have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right, that motion passes unanimously, and with that, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.